I'm going to say something most people need to hear. A lot of men are not failing with women because they're unattractive, not because they're not tall enough, not because they don't have enough money, not because they said one wrong thing. They're failing because they keep repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again. Mistakes that quietly destroy attraction, create awkwardness, and push women away without men even realizing it. And today, we're going to talk about them, not to shame you, but because once you see these patterns, you can't unsee them, and fixing them changes everything. Let's start with one of the biggest mistakes of all. Before we dive deeper, a quick message. If you've been learning from my videos and you want to support this work, you can subscribe to me on Facebook with a paid membership, send stars, or join my YouTube channel's paid community. Your support helps me create more powerful content for you, and I truly appreciate every bit of it. All right? Now, let's continue. Mistake number 1, trying too hard to impress. Most men walk into interactions thinking, how do I make her like me? And from that moment, everything goes wrong because now you're performing, not connecting. You start overthinking, talking too much, trying to seem more interesting than you actually are, and ironically, that effort makes you feel less natural, less confident, less attractive. Here's the shift. Stop trying to impress. Start trying to understand. Who is she? How does she think? What kind of energy does she bring? That mindset alone changes your entire presence. Now here's mistake number 2, and it quietly kills attraction fast. Mistake number 2, being too available. Instant replies, constant attention, always saying yes. At first, it feels like effort, but over time, it removes all tension because attraction isn't built through unlimited access. It's built through value, and value requires balance. Your time should matter too. Now let's go deeper, because this next one is subtle, but incredibly common. Mistake number 3, over-explaining yourself. You explain why you were busy, why you said something, why you couldn't reply sooner. And then you keep going, trying to be fully understood. But the more you explain, the more uncertain you appear. Confidence is simple, clear, and calm, not endless justification. Now here's where many men lose everything. Mistake number 4, making her the center of your life too quickly. You shift your schedule, prioritize her immediately, mentally revolve around her, and without realizing it, you lose your center. This is dangerous, not because caring is bad, but because overinvestment before real connection creates imbalance, and imbalance kills attraction. Now listen carefully to this next one because it's one of the most misunderstood mistakes. Mistake number 5, confusing kindness with lack of boundaries. Being respectful is attractive. Having no standards is not. Saying yes to everything, avoiding conflict, never expressing your preferences doesn't make you nice. It makes you invisible. Because attraction requires identity, and identity requires boundaries. Now, here's something many men don't realize. Mistake number 6, seeking constant validation. Did I say something wrong? Are we okay? Do you still like me? These questions usually come from insecurity, and insecurity leaks, not just through words, but through energy. The more reassurance you need, the less emotionally grounded you appear. Now let's go deeper again, because this one is huge. Mistake number 7, talking without listening. Many men think attraction is built by saying impressive things, so they talk and talk and talk. But connection is built through attention, real attention, listening deeply, picking up details, being present. That stands out more than clever lines ever will. Now, here's a mistake that ruins things silently. Mistake number 8, ignoring emotional cues. She seems less engaged, more distant, less responsive. And instead of noticing, You continue as if nothing changed. This creates disconnect because awareness matters. Pay attention. Energy always tells a story. Now this one is brutal. Mistake number 9, being outcome obsessed. You're not enjoying the interaction. You're trying to get somewhere, a number, a date, a result. And that pressure, it's felt immediately. But when you let go of needing a specific outcome, you relax, and relaxed energy feels far more attractive. And now, the final mistake, the one that ties everything together. Mistake number 10, forgetting your own life. Your goals fade, your habits slip, your focus weakens, all because your attention becomes consumed by one person. This is where attraction begins collapsing, because the most attractive version of you has direction, purpose, structure, not obsession. Now, here's the truth most people avoid. Women are not attracted to perfection. They're attracted to groundedness, presence, self-respect, emotional stability. And the irony is, the moment you stop obsessing over how to be attractive and start becoming more centered, you naturally become more attractive. Now, let's go even deeper, because knowing the 10 mistakes is one thing. Understanding why they keep happening, even after you know better, that's where real change begins. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of these mistakes share a single root, one underlying fear that expresses itself in 10 different ways. The fear of not being enough. Think about it. Why does a man over-explain himself? Because he's afraid his actions won't make sense without context. Because he's afraid of being misunderstood. Because somewhere underneath it all, he doesn't fully trust that who he is enough on its own. Why does a man make her the center of his world too quickly? Because her attention feels like proof. Proof that he's desirable. Proof that he matters. Proof that the question he carries quietly, "Am I enough?" has finally been answered. Why does a man seek constant validation? Same reason. He's outsourcing his self-worth, handing someone else the responsibility of making him feel okay about himself. And here's why that's so destructive, not just to the attraction, but to him. Because when your sense of value depends on her response, you are never truly stable. You're only as grounded as her last text message, only as confident as her last smile, only as secure as her last sign of interest. And that kind of conditional self-worth is exhausting to live with, for him and for her, because she can feel the weight of it, the unspoken pressure, the way his mood shifts based on her energy, the way he seems fine when she's warm and visibly unsettled when she's neutral. And no matter how much she might like him, that dynamic eventually becomes a burden. So the real fix isn't behavioral, it's foundational. It starts with answering that question yourself, not waiting for her to answer it, not looking for proof in her behavior, but building the kind of internal foundation that doesn't need external confirmation to stand. Now let's go back through a few of these mistakes and look at what actually replacing them looks like in practice, because awareness without application is just philosophy. Replacing mistake number 1. Instead of walking into an interaction thinking about how to impress, walk in, curious, genuinely curious, not as a tactic, but as an actual orientation toward the person in front of you. Be interested in who they are, what they think, how they see things. Because curiosity does something performance never can. It makes the other person feel interesting. And people who make you feel interesting become interesting to you. That's the irony most men miss. The fastest way to become compelling to someone is to find them compelling first. Not fake it, actually find it. Replacing mistake number 3. Instead of over-explaining, practice the discipline of saying less. Not being cold, not being evasive, just being clean. State what you mean once, clearly, and then stop. Let it land, let it stand. Don't decorate it with justification. Don't surround it with preemptive defense. Just say the thing and trust that it's enough. Because when you trust that it's enough, it usually is. And when you don't, no amount of explanation fills the gap. Replacing mistake number 5. This one requires the most internal work. Because people-pleasing runs deep. It's usually been learned over years. The belief that being agreeable keeps the peace. That expressing preferences creates conflict. That having standards pushes people away. But here's what's actually true. Standards don't push the right people away. They filter out the wrong ones. And that filtering is not a loss. It's a gift. Because the person who stays despite your standards stays because of who you actually are, not because of who you are willing to pretend to be. So start small. The next time you have a preference, express it. Not aggressively, not with an agenda, just honestly. I'd actually prefer this. That doesn't really work for me. I feel differently about that. And then watch what happens. Most of the time, nothing collapses. The world doesn't end, and you walk away feeling something you didn't expect. Respect for yourself. Replacing mistake number 9. This one is about presence. And presence is one of the most undeveloped skills in modern life because we've been trained to be goal-oriented, results-focused, outcome-driven. And in most areas of life, that's useful. But in human connection, it's poison. Because the moment you're focused on the result, you've left the moment. And she can feel that you've left. She can feel that the conversation is a vehicle rather than a destination. That you're here to get somewhere rather than to actually be here. And that feeling creates distance. So here's the practice. The next time you're in an interaction you care about, drop the agenda. Not permanently, just for the duration of the conversation. Let the outcome go and show up fully for what's actually happening. The words she's choosing, the things she's laughing at, the moments where she shifts. Be there for all of it because presence in a world of distraction is extraordinary and she will feel the difference immediately. Now here's something that ties every single mistake together. The common thread running through all 10 is the absence of self-possession. Self-possession is the quality of being fully at home in yourself, not arrogant, not closed off, but genuinely settled in who you are, your values, your preferences, your direction, your worth. When you have that, you don't over-explain because you trust that you make sense. You don't make her the center of your world because your world already has a center. You don't seek validation because your sense of value doesn't live in her response. You don't ignore emotional cues because you're present enough to notice them. You don't obsess over outcomes because the interaction itself is enough. Self-possession isn't a destination, it's a practice, built daily through the small choices that nobody sees. Choosing to honor your own time, choosing to say what you actually mean, choosing to hold your standard even when it's uncomfortable, choosing to invest in your own life, even when attention from someone else feels more urgent. These choices compound, quietly, consistently, until one day you realize that the energy you used to carry into interactions, the nervous, proving, performing energy, has been replaced by something else, something calmer, something steadier, something that doesn't need to be seen to feel real. And when you carry that into a room, into a conversation, into an approach, everything changes. Not because you learned new tactics, but because you became a different person underneath the tactics. That's the real work. And that's what we never stop building here. Attraction is often lost through patterns, not big mistakes, small ones, repeated daily. So fix the pattern and everything changes. If this gave you a new perspective, if something on that list hit closer than expected, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and go watch the next one, because we're only getting deeper from here. The men who understand this don't just become better with women, they become more themselves, more grounded, more directed, more at peace with who they are. And that version of you doesn't just attract better connections, it builds a better life. That's what we're here for. one truth at a time.